This is what it feels like when you're on top. It's what it feels like when you don't stop.
Who up in the studio? Who up in the studio? Who up in the studio? Hey, who up in the studio? 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 I'm in the studio. Who up in the studio? Who up in the studio? Who up in the studio? Hey, who up in the studio? 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 Hey, I'm up in the studio. They say they got so much flow, but they never been in the studio. And if they have ever been, it was a long time ago. My studio's my mind. My thoughts are in rhyme. You bet I'm in my prime. I sink universal's time. Wow. They search but can't find. There's no mountain I can't climb. Yes, I'm on my grind. Don't you see my competition that I left behind? Yeah, they way back there. Oh, your songs got banned. You need to change your brand. Homie. You need to get it in your hand. I do this for my people looking for the promised land.
They stop me, pissed off. I woke up just when it wasn't in that new Bugatti. When the fuck's gonna call me? Let's get ignorant, catch Tommies. Get so ignorant, I think every agent is smart that does karate. Hold up, double cuss for my team. Hope that we give up on our dreams. No, for the small town to stay locked down, any chance to succeed. So, what's our motivation? For the rest of our procreation. Came up some of your celebration, drunk as fuck on no occasion. Who the fuck are y'all to have opinions? Hope you get paid for the criticism. Stealing your neighbor's Wi-Fi to look up my rhymes. Trying to find a way to diss it, boy, you gonna be reaching for some time. I perfect my craft from the ground up. The street ball works perfect to your lungs, sir. But I bet you won't see this shit around us. Special shout out to my fans. Hope what keeps me alive gets you a breath of life. And the rest of y'all is good enough to haven't heard of me yet. Take 100 percent to close your eyes. The world is mine. We should all think like that it's fuel to grind. My partner's a kamikaze, so every check is do or die. Hold up and roll the loud to this one. All the way down and pound the system. A few bottles, couple pills, down with them. Just don't expect to sit down, I'm with ya. Cause it's double cuss for my team, ho. Double cuss for my team, ho. Turn the mic up, turn the lights down, and just make sure those beats go. You can roll that loud to this one. All the way down and pound the system. A few bottles, couple pills, down with them. Just don't expect to sit down, I'm with ya.
When you